All the talk, all the hype, but the fastest prologue as this Super Bowl is underway. This will be taken in at the 1. Able to spin free. And not a bad return. Here he gets it out to the 25-yard line. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. Leading them out is the former first-rounder from all the way back in 2004 from Miami of Ohio, Ben Roethlisberger.
We talk so often about his physical attributes. Of course, the Big Ben nickname, his ability to take hits in the pocket, his ability to extend plays and get outside of the pocket. But how about this for efficiency? Top 10 in career NFL passer rating. And he's one of the top 5 winningest quarterbacks in NFL history. That's pretty darn good.
First carry now for Jordan Howard. He spins free. How did he stay on his feet? And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Right back to him on first down. Room here to run. And he takes this one all the way across midfield into enemy territory down to the 40-yard line. That burst good for 20 and a first down.
A good run there off right tackle in an old-school NFL football. The right side of the offensive line, often known as the nasty side. The left side, usually the technical side. Kind of reminds me of the old Atlanta Falcons 2009, 2010. That's how they constructed their offensive line.
So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 right at the 40. They'll throw on first down with Roethlisberger. He's going to fire one deep up, and this is caught inside the 5. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. With a first touchdown of this Super Bowl and a long one at that. And his guys have taken a first-quarter lead. And we have seen the first touchdown to Super Bowl 52. The first 51 Super Bowls, a team that scored first, they won 34 times out of 51. So 2/3 of the time, but just gaining that momentum's got to be huge in this game.
It's massive, and that's what everyone's looking for. The first big break of a game, the first advantage of the game, and that tends to carry a team, right? Most of the time, you're able to sail on that for a while, and that's what you're looking for. The first touchdown, you feel like you're in great shape.
Extra point from McManus is good. And that makes the score 7-0. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. So now here comes the Eagles offense as they get ready to take over. Leading the charge under center will be their 6'5" quarterback, Carson Wentz.
And he knows the stakes, doesn't he? He knows how huge this game is. But let's face it, he led his team through the gauntlet that is the NFC playoffs. So he's pretty confident about all of this. But the defense he's facing, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for him. But what did he tell us?
Guess what? We've had 2 weeks as well on our side.
And this will be a whole lot of fun.
Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 24. Throwing on first is Wentz. And the reception made by Alshon Jeffrey. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks. Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you'd gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back. And let's see if they want to get outside of the game plan we expect and try and be aggressive on their first series.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
Now Wentz on third down. Ertz shrugs him aside. Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. An Eagle first down, Wentz to Ertz.
Plenty of things to talk about here, partner, but to me, their defense gave up a touchdown on the first drive. How about how they're responding, coming back? That's a big third down pickup to keep their drive alive.
Here's Wentz to throw. Caught by the tight end, Ertz. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
And oh, look at that, a diving catch. 13 yards on his first catch. It's a first down as well.
When the spotlight is at its brightest, and let's face it, it's the Super Bowl, those types of plays come out, don't they?
Absolutely. A big-time catch on the biggest of stages.
Do you think that that one's going to live on? We're going to see this for a long time.
Definitely going to live on forever with him, that's for sure.
No doubt.
11 more yards that go around, a first down as well.
Well, I know from past experience, before you actually play a game, you visualize what's going to happen. And I don't know anyone who doesn't visualize themselves being in the center of what's going on. That's 3 catches for him here in the early going.
Under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this first quarter. So a spirited first quarter here in Super Bowl 52. 7-0 is our score. We're back with more from Madden Ultimate Team on EA Sports.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Back live with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's the Eagles with the ball here to begin quarter number 2. But they face a second and long to start things out. So second and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. They'll run it now out of the gun. Fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a third down and long.
Well, they've certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. Makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
On third and long, it's Wentz. And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. Joe Schobert in there to drop him for a 4-yard loss, and it'll be fourth down.
Brandon, what I remember most about playing with guys who knew how to rush the passer, they would just tell you, just cover people for me, just long enough for me to get there. And that's exactly what happened on that play.
So on comes the Eagle kicker, Jake Elliott, on fourth down. Back deep, Antonio Brown. And here now the offense heading back out there. Now they'll be looking to duplicate the efforts of drive number 1 that resulted in 7 points in the 7-zip lead.
Well, you know how much I enjoy horse racing, right? Looks like they caught a flyer out of the gate, as they would say when you're running the big-time races. Means they get out to a fast start. They're setting the pace, making the other team chase now.
Now a play fake here on first down. He's going to float this one deep right side. He's got a man complete. Touchdown. Jerry Rice, 91 yards. And his guys get the quick strike touchdown. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Now McManus for the extra point. McManus's point after is good, and it's now 14-0. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This will be taken in at the 1. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. So out now comes the offense back onto the field. Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
They go play action here on first down. And his throw's going to be incomplete. Nelson Aguilar, the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd down. So not to get too overcritical there because he knows what he's doing, but his shoulders looked a little off kilter there when he threw that.
I don't think you're being overly critical there. You're just analyzing it, and he gets those shoulders right. That pass will go from incomplete to complete.
They run with Ajayi. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
We just saw another example of how the defense is winning this game. Really at the point of attack, the offensive line is just getting pushed around. I think now as a play caller, you've got to give them a little bit of help. Maybe you keep your tight ends a little bit more. Maybe the running backs help you a little bit with the pass blocking. But you've got to help them get some confidence because you can't abandon the play calling right now.
From the gun on 3rd down, Wentz. Oh, he's able to outmuscle him here as he pulls it in. Give him 6 on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. Is the punt team now as this one's sent away. This is taken at about the 14. It's just a 32-yard punt with no return. And out will come the offense as they take over. to give. Running right is Howard. And he finds enough of an opening to get this one back up to his 20. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
So much of the game today, we're looking for hybrid players, guys who can do a combination of jobs. And anyone who plays a strong safety position, now more than ever, is a hybrid-type player. Half defensive back that covers passes and half linebacker that makes tackles. We just saw the linebacker make that play.
Throwing the out route and complete. It's Brown. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Now a handoff looking right. Finding some room at midfield. And a cutback right sideline. And touchdown! Jordan Howard, 64 yards. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. That's one of those runs where you're thinking, is he going to run out of steam before he crosses the chalk? But he did not.
And whatever piano he had on his back, he was able to shed and make sure he got to the end zone. A terrific electric play.
Delay of game, offense.
That's going to set him back 5 yards. McManus now for the extra point. Extra point from McManus is good. And it's now 21-0. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And finishing it off with a touchdown run was Jordan Howard. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This will be taken in at the 1. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. The Eagles offense back out onto the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Now Wentz throwing on 2nd down. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1. The Eagles on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. From the gun, it's Wentz. He's got his man. That's Wallace. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the 1st half. From midfield, here's Wentz. No, bottled up. Oh, it's out, it's loose. They're going to need to get up and set in a hurry. Again, they'll throw with Wentz. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver, and it'll bring up third down. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on first down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. Now it's Ajayi. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's fourth down.
Nice job there defensively on third down. Not only did they string the play out, but they didn't allow any room for a cutback. Really well organized on the defensive side.
And they're going to take a timeout defensively. So with fourth down coming up, they go ahead and burn it and say we'll see what happens. A final shot before half for Wentz. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. So these two teams will head back to their respective locker rooms here in Super Bowl 52 from Minnesota. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. What a season this has been. Hard to believe it ends tonight, as we'll get back to you guys for the second half of this Super Bowl in just a moment. Thus far, this Super Bowl has looked less like a contest and more like a coronation. And to call the second half, let's get it right back out to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gordon. These two teams sat through a longer than usual 30-minute wait, but we're back in action here in this Super Bowl. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Out come the Eagles now as he'll go on offense first here in the third quarter. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution? Or did they think they were just bad plays to call?
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. On second down, here's Wentz. Burks over the middle. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
The Eagles on third down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Shotgun now for Wentz. And this is going to be incomplete. Another drive comes and goes. Still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. But you just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
The punt team on now as this one's sent away. This is fielded at the 27. It'll be a 40-yard punt, 8 on the return, and the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Jordan Howard and the rest of the offense heading back out there, and he has enjoyed some solid groundwork, and some good holes have been created by the guys up front.
Almost get the sense that their game plan is working to perfection, that what they worked on in practice all week, they've just translated and taken it out onto the field in this ball game, and boy, they're liking what they're seeing.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10. Now they try the right side here. A strong running. Room to run past midfield. And gets it across the 50 and down to the 48. And give him 17 yards that time as that'll move the chains.
Another good run there, and now we're seeing an offense that's imposed its will on a defense. When we talk about that all the time, what does it really mean? It means that the guys on the offensive line, they feel like they can do whatever they want. They're in the huddle saying, run it again. Give us another chance to smack someone and create some space. On the defensive side of the ball, not only have they imposed their will against you, you're almost powerless to figure out what you're doing there, but you got to keep your spirit up at the same time, and they're taking that too.
And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That one goes for 24 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now you can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And a good run as he manages 7 yards down to the 17.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, gotta like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a first down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
On second down, Roethlisberger. And Graham's got it over the middle. And he's into the end zone for the receiving touchdown. Jimmy Graham from 17 yards out. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead.
The big fella was the recipient there for that touchdown pass, and it seems like more and more the tight end is the guy you have to worry about most in the passing game.
Now McManus to tack on the extra point. McManus's point after is good, and it is 28-0. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut it. All right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the field on this drive.
Poor punter.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault. But hey, listen, there's got to be casualties at times. We're trying to win a game.
Again, they'll run it. Again, it Sproles. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
It looks way too easy right now. 2 carries, 2 straight first down runs. The eyes are carrying the legs to the proper hole, but they're being created by an offensive line that has the leverage game going for him right now. Lower than the defensive front, creating space, and he's finding it in a big way. Gotta love what they're doing on offense right now. Seeing that play and understand just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice gain right there on first down for them. Brings up a nice second down for them.
Back now here on EA Sports. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4.
Single, don't go. 120.
Wentz to throw on second down. That's into the hands of Wallace over the middle. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. A first down for the Eagles. Wentz finding the former Raven Wallace. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is not with his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing over the middle. He can really see everything forward.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker.
Wentz now to throw. Screen pass to Sproles. Finding room to the 20. And he's going to get it down to the 14-yard line. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen, where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit.
Ojai hit. He lost the football. Working from the gun, Wentz. And this is caught. Well, they get one back. Picking up the late touchdown here, but still down big.
Well, that touchdown won't change who's going to win the game, but I think you and I know a few people play fantasy football that may have had some interest in that one.
Yeah, that's one thing. When you get late in these games and they're out of reach, those touchdowns, maybe a couple people on the edge of their couch for the wrong reason.
Yeah, not just moral victories are played for anymore, are they?
Elliott good with a PAT. So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And it's now a 28-7 ball game. And it looks like this one won't work out. Hands team able to secure the football. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number as empirical.
And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. And they rattle off a big one. And even 40 yards. On first and goal, Howard. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back. They've got a second and goal now as they look to add a few more points here onto their total. The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on second and goal. They get it to him running left. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up an interesting third and goal. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on third, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that second down.
And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. Jordan Howard, his second touchdown of this Super Bowl. And his guys are going to add on to their lead. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Still an important piece of business to take care of, the extra point. Extra point from McManus is good, and that'll increase their lead to 28. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Philadelphia getting set to take the field. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride?
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. You got the big lead defensively, willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
The second down attempt there knocked down as it leaves the quarterback's hand, and it's incomplete. So getting in there to swat that one away, Josh Norman defensively.
I still remember the first time I saw him in person. It was a postseason college all-star game.
And down he goes. They bring down Wentz on the sack. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with 65 seconds remaining. So the offensive unit called the TO, and now we are ready to resume play. The Eagles send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. And now running right through it. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt. Now this offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. They have the big lead here late. They protected their home turf well, didn't they?
They certainly did, partner. And just think about how good that feels, because every team has a goal when they start the year to win at home. All right, and sometimes you don't win all of them, but they managed to get that done today. Just think about your routine stays the same. Everything's familiar. You feel right going into the game, and they translated that into a win.
They did indeed. They protected the home field, and now the final stages. It's caught inside the 25. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. That was a nice little setup there off play action for the long touchdown pass.
And I've got to tell you, it brings back bad memories for a guy like me as a former defensive back, because in a playbook I knew a long time ago, we described that play pattern as draw pass 9 go, meaning fly pattern after the play action pass, trying to hit him for the deep ball, and boy, were they successful on that one. So tough because his speed is so great. You've got to make sure you don't miss any cues or keys in order to try and keep up with him.
Draw pass 9 go. That's still a nightmare to this day.
Yeah, I still wake up in the middle of the night and feel the guy going past me.
Now McManus for the extra point. McManus's point after is good, and the lead will swell by 1 more. Now McManus on to kick this one off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll make it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point.
That's all that's left, because victory, not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it, because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now, and if they call plays they want executed, they need to do that and do it really well. Otherwise, there could be repercussions.
We'll see how they handle the waning moments of this one. Wentz now on first down. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Go. Lady.
Back to the air on 2nd down. Wentz. Over the middle, complete. It's Wallace. And he's taken down, but not before getting this across midfield and just shy of the 40. A good pickup there of 22. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he gets it down to the 32. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to play with a totally different style and a different flow.
And they are the Super Bowl champs. The Lombardi Trophy is theirs, and so are bragging rights for an entire season. What a season it has been. Feels like we have been there every step of the way. Our entire crew doing a wonderful job. Thanks to my broadcast partner, Charles Davis. For all those guys, I'm Brandon Gaudin signing off. We'll talk to you next season right here on EA Sports.